setting aside charges framed by trial court against an accused for allegedly facilitating MBBS admissions at Patiala College in exchange of bribes, the Delhi High Court has said that if illegally intercepted messages or audio conversations are permitted as evidence, it would lead to manifest arbitrariness and promote scant regard to the procedure and fundamental rights of the citizens and the law laid down by Supreme Court. The court said that the order for interception could be issued on either the occurrence of any public emergency or in the interest of public safety as per Supreme Court's judgment. To understand more on what exactly this means in the context of right to privacy debate, I am now joined by former judge of Delhi High Court, Justice Usha Mehra. Thank you very much, Justice Usha Mehra, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Good evening to you. So the Delhi High Court has observed that illegally recorded tapes can't be an evidence. Your first reaction, ma'am?
My reaction is that it is perfectly in accordance with the provision laid down by the Telegraph Act and in pursuance to the decision given by the Supreme Court in up to number of cases where the right of privacy has been protected. Now, the court has relied on Section 5 of the Telegraph Act, which also provides that unless it is an emergency or the public interest or the integrity of India is in doubt or is going to affect the public at large, the interception of an individual's telephone cannot be done, nor any message can be received. If at all the authority finds that it is necessary, it has to give him chance by referring the matter to the review committee constituted for this purpose within 7 days. And the review committee, if it comes to the conclusion that the recording of the conversation was necessary and it was in the public interest or keeping in view the public emergency, it can be allowed. And that is a very big safeguard. This violation of this procedural part has rightly been held by the High Court is a very big flaw in the investigation. Now, in this case, as it was before the court of Dr. Shah, the conversation was recorded in 2010 and evidence, the prosecution tried to rely on this evidence in 2012. Until then, no procedure was followed. No review committee paper was sent to the review committee giving justification for recording the evidence of an individual. So therefore, the court was justified, to my mind, in coming to the conclusion that such an evidence cannot be taken on record.
But Justice Usha Mehra, now if we see the story from the other side, not this case particularly, but what the High Court has observed. Now, we know that how smartphone has also become, ma'am, a weapon where someone's malafide intentions or actions can be recorded. Perhaps...
Sorry, your voice is cracking.
Justice Mehra, is it better now?
No, your voice is totally cracking.
Is it better now?
Bit better, yes.
Okay, we will quickly... Okay, let me just try and ask the question again. Justice Mehra, I was trying to understand the other aspect of this particular statement, not of the case per se, but the statement that has been made and the kind of impact it can have on other cases in the country. Now, we know that smartphone, in fact, has become a weapon where someone's malafide actions can be recorded. Perhaps, the victims of bribe, victims of extortion have been using it as a tool. Do you see that as a setback for such people, for victims who do not have the wherewithal to maybe gather enough evidence if they are being, harassed or blackmailed?
There is no prohibition not to receive such an information or intercept such a conversation. But before you rely it in the court, you must place it within 7 days before the review committee. And that procedure must be followed. The court nowhere has said that you cannot intercept or record the statement or intercept the conversation, which you think must be recorded. But at the same time, before you rely it, you must place it before the review committee. And that committee must see that this recording was necessary, keeping in view the public interest or keeping in view the emergency situation. So there is no prohibition in recording, but relying it as an evidence, you have to follow the procedure laid down under the rules of this act.
Do you see, ma'am, this was the need of the hour? It was important that something like this is reiterated at a time with we are seeing when there is a boom in communication, more people are discussing public, personal issues via the different modes of communications that are available to us, and they can be illegally recorded by people and can be misused, something that we are seeing happening in the country.
That is why I'm saying it. If such a conversation is recorded illegally, there are provisions in the act itself for prosecution. And the authority can use that provision for prosecuting such illegal. I'm not talking about only placing it as an evidence, but even illegally recording of a conversation between the individual. Whosoever has done it can be prosecuted under the act.
Ma'am, do you see that these had a character of prejudicing the judicial process, and that's the reason why it was important?
Naturally, when you are placing somebody's conversation privately done between the two persons without going through the proper procedure, it tantamounts to prejudicing the court proceeding, because the authority which has been named in the act, that is a review committee, will look into it as to under what circumstances you intercepted the conversation, what was necessary, was it in the public interest, was it for the public emergency, was it for the good of the people. Something has to be recorded, something higher authority has to look into it. Only then you can place it on record. But if you, of your own, record somebody's private conversation and place it on the before the judicial record, you try to influence the court prejudicially.
All right, Justice Usha Mehra, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now and explaining to our viewers the meaning of this very important statement that has been made by Delhi High Court, which said that illegally recorded tapes can't be used as an evidence. With this, we will slip into another very, very short break on Urban Debate, but there's